Hey guys, welcome to the first Trainer Talks. I am in my car. I have a few errands to run before I head out to my client's house, which is like 45 minutes away. But today I just wanted to get a little bit personal and talk about why I've gained weight. And I'm really supposed to be losing weight right now because everybody wants to lose weight for their wedding, but there have just been some things in my life that have made it a little bit difficult for me to really commit to my weight loss journey, and I've been focusing on a little bit of different things. On the highway driving and out of the city, I feel like it's easier to talk just because I live in Florida where a lot of tourists visit, and in the summertime they're all on the roads, and if you're not from Florida then you don't know how to drive the way that we drive in Florida, so you're kind of in my way and annoying, but it's all good. So anyway, I want to talk about my weight gain journey over the past few months, and it's really annoying to me that I've gained this weight because it's not weight that I would have liked to have gained. In fact, I guess my fitness journey started right after I graduated high school, I would say, so about 4.5 years ago, or 4 years ago, I guess. And this is probably the first time that I'm not exceptionally proud of myself for progress, because I feel like I've kind of made a regression, and there are a lot of factors that have played into that. A lot of things in my life have changed over the past year, and I've just right now I'm at the heaviest weight I've ever been, but I do have a plan to get back down to where I want to be and where I should be and where I could be. It's just going to take some time, and more than time, it's going to take consistency, which is something that I'm typically pretty good at when it comes to my fitness, but lately I have just been slacking on. So I gotta make myself create more consistency, and that's honestly my ultimate plan. Just to be more consistent with my exercise and with my eating. And my eating is really where I kind of fell off, because for those of you who don't know, I have been dealing with depression for probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, I guess. And I was clinically diagnosed when I was 19, and I'm 22 now. So I have learned different ways of dealing with it, but because everything in my life is so much different now than it's ever been before, I have kind of let myself go for weeks at a time, feeling pretty depressed, or just not sticking to my schedule of workouts, or even my schedule of my day. I've been sleeping a lot more lately, or not sleeping at all, and I've been eating foods that are not good for me, or not eating at all, and it's a struggle right now. But I guess some of the main changes that led to my weight gain are the fact that I've gained most of my weight gradually over the past year and a half, and a lot of that was on purpose. I wanted to be a little bit heavier. Right now I'm 152, and I wanted to be 145, and I had been at 130 forever, since I could remember. Getting to 130 at one point was a huge deal for me, and then I wanted to push up to 145 and keep my body fat percentage at the low 20s. And right now I'm about 23 to 24% body fat, so not that bad, but I could do better. And so since I've turned 21, I've been able to drink, which has caused me to retain more fat and less muscle, and it atrophies my muscle, because I do like to go out for drinks every now and then, and that's something I've definitely cut back on over the past several weeks. So being able to drink alcohol will cause you to gain weight if you drink alcohol, just a heads up. Also, I have in the past year and a half come into this wonderful relationship with my now fiance, and you know, when you get in a happy relationship you just gain weight, and that happened to me. Plus, over the past, I guess like 3.5 months, my fiance has been deployed. He's in the Air Force, so he's been away, and that has not helped my depression one single bit. So I have been just like sad, and I'm feeling kind of like lonely lately. I do have a friend that's come to live with me in our house while he's gone, just so that it's not so empty. But he should be back hopefully soon. We don't have any idea when he's coming back. But we're hoping pretty soon. And then we are getting married in the middle of October. So I have, like, I don't know, between 80 and 90 days left before the wedding, which is stressful in itself. And then if you saw my video on like reducing stress, those are tips that I do take. But at the same time, like, my life is pretty stressful right now between planning a wedding and then running my still like very much a fledgling business with personal training. There's always something to be done, but I don't always want to do things. I don't know if you've ever heard of the spoon theory, but it's essentially like you wake up every day with like a certain number of spoons, and the spoons represent the activities that you have enough energy for that day. And I've just been like low spoon for a while. So we are on a it's kind of jumpy, I'm sorry. We're really kind of like on a path right now to creating a better mindset, just because I understand that depression stems from chemical releases in your brain or lack thereof, and you can stimulate more chemical responses and releases from your brain by eating the right foods and working out. So that's how I've always come up against my depression, with a healthy lifestyle. But sometimes you just get into a rut, and it makes it very difficult to get back onto your healthy schedule. So I'm making a promise right now to myself to just be more vigilant in taking care of my physical health, which will in turn help take care of my mental health. And I think that that will be the start to my weight loss, which is, again, like a new thing for me. I've never had to lose weight. It's more like helping other people lose weight is actually something that I'm very good at, but like helping myself lose weight is difficult because I like to eat things that are not that good for me, and I don't like moderation very much. And I probably commit like one of the 7 deadly sins every day just because I eat so freaking much. I'm sorry, but like, I don't know, it's just a journey, and I'm really hoping to steer myself onto the right path. Maybe I should hire a personal trainer, then maybe that's what I should do. Okay, so I have finally finished all of my training sessions for today, other than my own workout, and I'm headed back towards my house, but I'm going to go to the grocery store first, pick up some groceries, and then we're going to do a little bit of meal prep. I put a poll up on my, let's see if I can study that. I put a poll up on my Instagram story asking would people rather see like a full body 2 dumbbell workout or a meal prep, and so far it's been a resounding 100% for meal prep. If you want to be part of helping me decide what videos I should post, follow me on Instagram. It's at Madison B. Jordan. So I guess I'll just see you guys when I get home from the grocery store. I'll go through everything that I got, and then we'll prep some meals. Alright, so I just got back from the grocery store. I'm going to put away all my groceries and put some chicken in the crock pot to make chicken spaghetti. And then I'm going to go to the gym while that kind of cooks a little bit. When I come back, we're going to make a chicken spaghetti and a shrimp and asparagus dish, and then meal prep a couple of smoothies. So that'll be like my food for the rest of the week until Sunday, when I do a full week of meal prep, because it's Wednesday now, so I just have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to cook for.
Okay, so to get started, we're going to thaw our shrimp out by putting it under cold water in the sink and leaving it until it's completely thawed out. I'm going to add 6 chicken tenders and 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth with salt, pepper, and garlic. And then I'm going to put that on high in the crock pot while I chop up an entire package of the turkey kibasi that'll be added in once I shred the chicken. This, I just leave all the juices in there to make it nice and juicy because I like my sauce to be chunky but not super thick. So I'm just going to shred up all the chicken and then add the turkey kibasi into that. After I add the turkey kibasi in, I'm going to chop up the entire package of tomatoes for both recipes, but I'm going to use half of the package of the small sweet tomatoes and chop those up to make it, again, I like my sauce really, really chunky, so I just chop it in half. And then I'm going to add an entire can of tomato sauce, a small can of diced tomatoes, plus the fresh tomatoes that I just cut, and several handfuls of spinach. For my spinach, I always just buy the bags of it, and then I put them in the freezer and then crush them up once they're frozen. I'm going to add several handfuls of spinach in there and then stir it up and put the lid on and let that simmer on low because everything is cooked at this point. It's just melding all the flavors together. Once the sauce is going and the shrimp is thawed, I will take all of the shells off because I buy raw shrimp with the shells and tails on, no heads. And I just take all those off and then I'm going to rinse them again under cold water just to make sure I'm not raising the temperature too high and to get all of the shell bits and pieces that might have flaked around, get those off. I'm going to use a green pasta for my shrimp dish because I'm not going to do the asparagus one. So I'm going to set that in to boil. And then I'm also going to later make a red bean lentil pasta that's gluten-free, and I'm going to use that for my spaghetti meal prep. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to a pan. Once it's hot, I will add in all of my shrimp. I'm going to cook the shrimp until it's nice and pink before I add any other ingredients to this. But I will be adding the other half of the package of tomatoes as well as the spinach from the frozen bag. And then when the pasta is done cooking, I will add that with some olive oil and some garlic. I don't like to add a lot of seasoning to this, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, of course you don't. But I just like to let the natural flavors of the spinach, tomatoes, and shrimp come out. Plus, this pasta is not bad. It's made with like 5 different vegetables or something like that, but it doesn't taste bad at all. When everything is added to the pan, I will let it simmer. I'm going to just put the lid on, stir it up and put the lid on, and then just let it simmer on low for a little bit before turning it off. I'll just keep the lid on until I'm ready to eat it, and then I'll save the rest for later. With our smoothies today, the first one that we're going to make is a chocolate banana peanut butter smoothie. It's probably one of my favorite. It's inspired by one of the ones at Tropical Smoothie that I really like. So I'm going to add a half a banana, about a half a cup of dried rolled oats, and I'm going to, of course, make a mess. Then I'm going to add in a tablespoon of PB2 powder and a tablespoon of 100% cocoa powder and a generous sprinkle of cinnamon. I'm also going to add in 1 whole scoop of vanilla protein, which is technically a half serving of the protein that I use, but I don't want it to be overpowering because I do like my smoothies to be relatively tiny because I do not ever drink or eat a lot at one time. Once I've cleaned up the mess from my first smoothie, I'm going to move into making a berry banana smoothie. I'm going to use the other half of my banana, a few strawberries just cut into like rather large chunks, and then a small handful of blueberries. I'm also going to add some spinach to this one just to get my greens in because the berries really mask the flavor of the spinach. And then I'm just going to put the lid on this and I'll put both of the smoothies into the fridge for later. The really cool thing about these mason jars is that they're standard mouth, so I can just screw on the blade part of my blender and pop the jar onto the blender, blend it up, and then put my drink lid on, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to add my red lentil pasta and a generous serving of the spaghetti sauce, and that'll be my lunch for tomorrow because I am going to have the wonderful shrimp and pasta dish for dinner tonight and probably dinner tomorrow night. This is probably one of my favorite dishes, and I've kind of remixed it from something my great aunt taught me, but I absolutely love it.